Welcome to the Lucha Lounge. I'm your host, Steve DeMarco. This is going to be a little late, at least in video format. So if you're used to watching YouTube videos, my apologies for the late arrival of this latest episode. I am about 30 minutes to an hour away from getting to do my sit-down conversation with JJ Blake. I'm looking forward to that one, and reached out to him and thought maybe we'd schedule it for next week. But we both had some free time this afternoon, so why not? Before I continue, July 16th, that is Reality Wrestling's next television taping. I cannot wait for this show as we're on the road to Summer of Champions 3, and man, what an announcement. Kurt Angle will be a guest. I'm not sure if he's going to do anything. Who knows? Who knows? It's just the idea that Kurt Angle's going to be in the building for Summer of Champions 3. And of course, between the two, you've got August 6th, you've got Reality Wrestling, House of Hardcore, Pasadena Convention Center, I believe, but go to realitywrestling.com for more details. They will give you those details. If you didn't get to check out the first part of this conversation, feel free to go check it out. My sit-down conversation with Ivory Robyn, the first portion, and we ended it kind of in a cliffhanger. At the time that we ended it, Final Heat came about, a five-way Diamonds showcase or Diamonds division match, which kind of not just that. There was other factors, but basically it led to the dissolvement of, or the Diamonds division going on a bit of a hiatus. And so yeah, we were right there for part one. So if you haven't gotten a chance, go back and check it out. Listen to Ivory Robyn's start and getting, becoming part of Reality Wrestling and her first, her debut with the company and so on and so forth. But that was last week. And next week will be probably JJ Blake. Although I have thrown out some feelers for like Sean Studd and Cameron Cole, maybe Kiefer Bartek. There's a few in the works that I have in mind. Even some people that aren't really necessarily always on the show may want to sit down with some of them. But, again, I kind of go week to week, and we'll see. We'll see how long the JJ Blake conversation goes, and if it goes a long time, then that might be a two-parter. You never know. You never know. Trying to think of anything else. I liked Money in the Bank. I was fine with Dean Ambrose winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing it in later in the night. I thought that was well done. I thought AJ and John was a phenomenal match, and AJ just having a slew of great matches and against top tier opponents, and woo! What else can be said? I thought that was a really great match, and I thought the finish was great. I thought it worked. You want to get heat on someone, you have to take away what the fans want. The fans want a clean, clear finish. And I like AJ in the role that he's in. A guy with a lot of credentials, but with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, or a boulder on his shoulder. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Kudos to the Cavs for winning Game 7 and the NBA Finals and the NBA Championship. Kudos to them. Congratulations. I literally was watching both side by side, although I watched Money in the Bank on a bit of a delay. But I watched Game 7 as it happened, and it was great. It was great having two televisions. It's great, being able to see that stuff. Yeah, wow, can't even. So congrats to the team. Congrats to LeBron James bringing one for the land, and it sounds like he's going to be staying with the Cavs, and so it should be interesting. It actually has prompted my desire to play like NBA 2K16 or 2K17 when it comes out, because it was such a good finals. And in my opinion, anytime you get to Game 7, I think that's a testament to both teams and the NBA as a whole. Also, I finally, and I didn't realize that, good thanks to GameFly, but I had The Last of Us for a while, I think since September I've had that game, and I'd already beaten the main story for the PS3 version. I really wanted to see the last that additional chapter. I guess it's called Left Behind, and it's kind of a little bit of a flashback. It's really the heroine's point of view, like her before she gets bit, to prove that to find out that she's immune, and helping out Joel get, I think, bandages and such. So I don't know, it was really well done. It took me a little bit to even want to play it. I think Fallout 4 is what I'm getting next. I think that's what's on my queue. I think I downloaded an Fallout 4 app because apparently you can use... I'm not too familiar with the series. Unfortunately, I've never played any of the games. I've heard good things about this one, and I recently updated my queue because, again, I've had Last of Us forever. But, so yeah, it was... I'm looking forward to Fallout. I don't know how much time I'll be able to devote because it's, between, my regular life and training and yoga and putting out these, whether it be video or audio or, my work with Reality Robyn. I mean, it's just a full life. No big complaints, but just sometimes time. Plus, there's just shows that I, like Orange is the New Black. I think we're not all the way through it. We're maybe have one or maybe 2 or 3 episodes left. So far, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I think aside from that, just waiting for Suicide Squad when it comes out later, in August. So, but again, let's get back to things. This week is a continuation of my conversation with Ivory Robyn, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we were in the midst of the division taking a bit of hiatus. And it took a hiatus for a few months, and it was a big, building up over time. But Ivory stayed the course. She stayed with the company throughout and really, was a real positive, positive person in light of all of it, and really never showed her frustration, and I really respect her for that. And then, so we covered that. She kind of tells a story, which I think was really great. Good way to start this. And, obviously getting put front and center for the division once it came back, and Summer of Champions 2 and all that. And we get into, the title reign and getting the title, I guess, presented to her by Lita, and, what she was going through with that, and some of her highlights, as far as the title reign goes, some of the opponents that she's faced. I try to get her opinions on that. And, it kind of ends, we end kind of where we begin. And then I also find out where the moniker, the Black Diamond, comes from, what her inspiration for that was, which is a great touch. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy my sit-down conversation with Ivory Robyn, the former Reality Wrestling's Diamonds Division champion. But, she's in the mix already. If you haven't watched the latest episodes, be sure to check those out because she's definitely on those. That's about it. I don't know. Again, I'm waiting for Blake to get here so we can sit down and have our conversation. But, as I always like to end these, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. You know what? Sit back, relax, and enjoy my sit-down conversation with Ivory Robyn. You definitely will be. Until the next time, later!
I went to Kevin and I was like, Kevin, even though the division is shut down, I was like, I can't shut down. So, do you know any other promotions where I can get work so I can get better? Because the thing that a lot of people don't realize is what kept me going. One thing that kept me going was Booker telling a story to where he said that he knew eventually that if he always stayed in like the promoter space, they would have no choice but to give him a chance.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Like when he won, I believe it was the U.S. Championship, he had his boots, he had all his stuff ready, and the person that was supposed to get the title shot wasn't there. And so I think he ended up going over.
Okay.
I believe. So, am I right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
It's always like, the adage is like, always have your gear and just have a good rapport with the boss. Because, ultimately, it's Booker's vision, and if it's not politicking. It's just, man, you respect what he does, you respect his vision, and more importantly, you want to get on the show because, man, this is what you train for.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I moved down here for. So I would sit at the concession stand, honestly, and I just daydream like, oh man, when am I going to get a chance to go in there and work? I want to have a match. But I kept coming. I kept helping. I helped with the fantasy camps. Like, I was just there at everything, and I still do that. And I, like I said, I just knew that if I'm always in Booker's face and he sees me rolling around, working with the guys and stuff like that, eventually I'm like, I know the division is going to come back. Like, it sucks right now, but I know it's going to come back, and I'm going to be ready when it comes back. So about June, I believe it was, Kevin told me that he was like, hey, for the next show, we're going to bring the division back, and because I was telling him, he was looking for girls. This was after one of the girls, like, the championship was vacated.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, have you thought about, I was just trying to get girls here, girls that, like, were legit, because I always want to work with girls that are better than me, so I can learn from them, and I can teach the girls that are newer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Kind of that trickle down effect. And so I was like, what about Athena? Because I really, she was on my list. Like, Cody Rhodes has his list. Yeah. She was on my list. Yeah. And so I was like, Athena, or I went to naming some other girls, and he hit her up, and he was like, all right, so we got Athena. Athena's going to work Princess Miranda in July, and you're gonna come out and just interrupt the match. Yep. So I was excited. I was like, oh my god, what do I wear? Like, just freaking out. Like, mom, oh my god, I finally get my shot, like my solo shot. So it was a very cool thing to finally hear, hey, we're bringing the division back. Because as soon as he said that, and how they seemed like they were placing it on me, like, look, we're gonna put you in charge of this. You know what I mean? So I knew not to let them down. I was like, this shit is not gonna fail under me. So I don't want it to fail under me. So that's so now we're looking at Summer Champions 3 or 2? 2. Okay, so a year after, like, this great first impression, this great 10-woman battle royal that could have been match of the night as far as I was concerned, at least on a really stacked card. And you're in a triple threat. You're with Athena and Princess Miranda. Was working. I've known Athena since, like, she first broke in. I've always had a massive respect for her because she just trained by dudes, so she just had a certain level. I know where she got the O-face from, which is a phenomenal finisher. She's just a great talent. They showed it in slow motion the other day, as like a gift. And I was like, dude, she just lands on her ass like that all the time. It looks like that would hurt, but it's so cool. I was so glad I did not have to take it. You don't understand? I was so freaking glad. And then I watched Princess Miranda take it, and I was like, oh, that looked like it hurt.
It's the guy who originated it, this guy Gigolo James. He was way smaller than me, so when I took it, I kind of took the brunt of it, but it wasn't hard because I'm like literally catching him and bringing him down, and then I don't have to go to a knee. I can just like take a big rock bump, but in the kind of, Athena and Princess Miranda had that one match, and then it became a triple threat because of, you kind of staked your claim. You were the Black Diamond at that point. What was it like? So working Athena, everything you would hope for as far as getting to get in the ring.
Yes, she is an awesome chick. Like, I was talking to, like, I did not realize she was that short. And so it's like, I heard somebody talking, and I looked, and I was like, is that Athena? Like, she was just this small little girl with, like, a small woman with, like, a big voice. Hey, girl! Da, da, da. She was real friendly, hugging everybody because she hadn't seen them in a while. And so, sweet girl, she was sitting there giving me advice and, telling me, what to do and who I should talk to, like, different things like that, how to go about it. So she's a great girl.
So, but you come out on the winning end. You become the Diamonds Division champion, and we brought up Lita. Now, I will, again, I wanted to have you on the show more just to tell you how much respect I have for you, because there was another situation where, and I didn't know it at the time, that you were such a big fan of Lita's. I mean, that's a big deal. Like, I was even like, oh my God, it's Lita. Like, oh my God, I can't hit on you, but I would so pound you right now. That was all I was thinking. Like, forget all the other stuff. I'm just like, can we talk about tattoos? And but I didn't even do that because of course I'm trying to follow protocol. And like,
it's hard when you see somebody that you idolized or you grew up watching, and it's like you want to be like, oh my God, I'm a fan, but then you don't want to embarrass Booker. Or Booker will actually, I've seen people mark out, which to me isn't necessarily a bad term, but I've seen them like mark out when they, like when he has certain guests come in and he's like, Mark. You know, he'll sit there like he's done that, and it's like the funniest thing. And I'm like, no, I don't want Booker.
And we go, well, Book. I mean, you got to work with all these people. We were watching them. It's like you meeting Muhammad Ali. You know, rest in peace. That's for me, like even Book to some degree. I first meet him, and then you realize, oh, he's just like he is on TV. It's so great. But what I really respected about it was you didn't break. Like, you get the title, and we've talked since, so I want to ask, people have seen the image. I mean, you are in full black diamond, Ivory Robyn. You're just in complete, like, diva, head bitch in charge. Like, you're it's a complete, but, like, on the inside, what were you thinking?
Oh my God, like, what I couldn't do in front of her, I was doing on the inside. Like, I was like, holy shit, it's Lita. Oh my God, like, so it's like, I'm so glad I held it together. I'm glad I didn't smile. Like, when her music hit, I was like, this is really happening. Like, I was in shock, and I was excited, and I was humble. Like, I don't know, I was crying on the inside, and I cried when I got out of the ring, though. I, like, went to a corner, and, but it was just all these emotions, like, wow, this is my WrestleMania moment. Like, if I never make to WWE, this is my moment. This is actually happening. And, it was so awesome. Like, I spoke to her prior to, and I said, hey, if you have time, I said, is there any way that you could, watch the girls match and, give me some advice afterwards or some tips? And I was like, I would greatly appreciate it. And she was like, yeah, definitely. And she said she watched it and she gave me some advice. So I was just, it was just, I don't know, still shocking to me, like almost a year later. So.
Yeah, because close to Summer of Champions.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, you've had a pretty significant reign up until the injury. Working Princess Miranda, what was that like for you? As far as how did you feel like y'all chemistry wise was it pretty solid or?
It was okay.
Okay.
Could have been better.
Okay.
It was okay. Like I get it now when they say there's some people you click with and some people.
There's some people like you get in there and there's great chemistry, and there's some no matter how great you are or how great they are, it doesn't. Yeah, you just I've worked with some people that are top talent. And I'm like, I don't get it, and then and same thing with me. Like we're just off. I've even had it with friends that I'm like, oh, it'd be great to work you, and then you go, let's never do that again. We just we're better apart. Hi Young. I mean, y'all had a good little back and forth. What was it like working? I mean, she was relatively still new. I mean, to it. How was it like working with her?
It was good. I was trying to find the word because we worked a couple shows prior to. So by the time we had our first match on TV together, we had already worked 2 or 3 times because she was new and she was wanting to work a match. So I was like, yeah, let's try something at Hurricane Pro. See where we are.
Kind of see where.
So yeah, like the match that I enjoyed with her, Christmas Chaos was cool. Like the low blow, it was entertaining some people. I liked the match. Oh, it's actually a toss up. The one in spring
Okay.
with Reality of Wrestling, and then our first one at Hurricane Pro.
Okay.
Which was like in August of
Okay.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. Like we had our good days and then we had our off days.
Okay.
So it's just like, yeah, it was good.
Okay. Kylie Ray. I want to ask you about her. Now, I let you listen to the clip that's going to be released. I mean, by the time this comes out, she had some very glowing things to say about you. What's it like? I don't know. It just seems like at this point, there's a little bit of a strong core. Like the women like you and Jada, they all kind of follow your lead as far as like being there as often as they can, and they're always working hard and they're always trying to remain positive. Yeah. But aside from the freak injury, like what was it like being in the ring with Kylie? I mean, it's her debut match when she challenges you. What was it like for you? Because I mean, y'all seemingly had some really good chemistry.
Yes, we did. Her first day there, I actually jumped in the ring with her because Abel or Nico was getting ready to train her, and I had talked to Kevin. Kevin was like, "Hey, at this point, him and Booker were talking to me about. They're like, okay, you're the example for the group, so." Set a good example. Come in, work with the girls. Do everything that you can to be positive. Surround them with positiveness. That's a word. And so, like, as soon as she came in, I was like, "Hey, Nico, is it cool if I jump in with her and work with her?" And so we literally like did every move together that we have on the sheets, and it just went from there. And it's so funny because, and I just remember this. After we did all the moves, Nico looked at us and he said, "I can't wait to see y'all's first match together." Right. And I did not think about that till now. He said that. Yeah. He was like, "Y'all look like y'all got some good chemistry." Yeah. And so it's like we would roll around, she would ask me questions and I would answer them. I was pretty much being the girl for them that no one was really to me. Yeah. So it's just like, I was like, and I meant what I said by not letting this division fall under me. Yeah. And so I was just in there, I was rolling around with her. She had a move that she wanted to try, and I was like, yeah, I'm willing to try. And same thing with Jada or any of the other girls that'll come up and ask me my opinion. I'll give them my opinion. I'll tell them what I was told by like you guys or Booker, or I pass it down. Yeah. Because I want us all to be comfortable working together. Yeah. And Kylie, she has the same, and I think this is so cool. She has the same mindset that I have, whereas then it's like, it's honestly when you're first getting in, it's a little bit of that naive, like I just want everybody to work together and be happy and blah blah blah. That's how I was, and people were like, "Girl, you don't know what you're doing." You know what I mean? And so it's just to see her come in with that, I was like, she's gonna be all right. Like, I like her. Like, I enjoy working with her. She says like some of the most random stuff, literally, and I'm looking at her like, really? No, it
literally stops. I mentioned to her some of the awkward stuff that she says. It's like the record scratches and everybody just kind of goes, "What did that come?" Oh man! Yeah. And then she just, she has her awkward way. Another thing you got, during the reign was you are under the guidance of Stevie Ray. What's it been like getting expert tutelage from I mean, people think he's a character in the ring, but people have no idea what he's like.
What he's like behind the scenes, man. That guy he's so freaking awesome. Like, I wish I could see him more. Like, I definitely feel like I would benefit from that just as much as I do from Booker. Yeah. He's so genuine, and I feel like you can go up to him and ask him questions. What do you think about this? Or why does this, it's like if Booker gets mad, like I didn't do something the way that he wanted it done.
Yeah.
Like after one of my matches with Hyun, and I didn't realize it's something that you don't know until you actually do it.
Yeah.
Even Booker said that, and I got chewed out, and literally I'm standing like looking like, oh, okay, okay, and then I go to my corner. I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then Stevie Ray came over and he talked to me. He was like, he's like, don't get mad. I wasn't mad, but I was just like,
Well, no, yeah, it's especially when you don't know. It's a different story if hopefully there's never a second time, because once it just gets ingrained in you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, Book would, I remember, and I told this story to Kylie, but I remember a situation of like doing film study and everything being fine, and Book really liking my match, and then when we get to the pin, and I do this like cocky pin, I'm grapevine the leg, and it's like I kind of shit on the guy, you know. Book like a 15-20 minute lecture, like in front of everybody during film study, pauses it, rewinds it, plays it, like just that part, like you had me till that part, and it never has escaped my mind. I've never done it since, you know, and I've like don't even have the urge to do it. But it's like when we've had talks, he's like, I'm not just here to tell you what you do right, but to tell you the stuff you don't even realize that you do wrong. Like the habit stuff that you've done for years and no one's told you, like especially for me. And he's like, so I'm going to point it out. And when I point it out, it's going to be really impassioned, and you may not get it, but one day you will, and once you get it, it'll be like, oh my God, and why did I do it like that before? You know, now I know. So, but it was great to have like Stevie, like
because he was like, that's just my brother. He's passionate about it.
Yeah.
He was like, I get what he's saying though. Blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's such a freaking cool guy, and I'm honored to be under his expert tutelage.
Yeah, because it's not many. I mean, you know, for being in an incorporation, I mean, he's pretty selective with who he picks. So, you knew pretty right on that something was wrong. You know, let's go back to the arm. I mean, because again, you're in the midst of this run, irregardless of how it's written, so on and so forth. I mean, you're having, you know, especially on the horizon, once they announced all these girls, because you basically, I remember that when they announced like all these new girls that were going to be part of the division, and then Kylie gets announced as like the hot free agent and whatnot. But I was like, wow, this could be something, because you're not going to let it go to shit. Like, you know, we all realized, much like with Gino, and much like with Rex and Brian back before that, like, you are the standard bearer. Like, I try to tell Tyree, like, buddy, you're the tag team champion. Like that, especially for Book's company. It's a television product. Like, that's a big deal. We're, you know, so I had a lot of hope, and then for you to kind of go out the way you went out. Now, you just knew something was wrong, but you didn't know the severity. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't know it was broken when it happened.
I feel like I kind of did.
Okay.
I was hoping that it wasn't, but as soon as it happened, because I've heard stories of people breaking things and saying that they go numb.
Yeah.
Whatever they break goes numb.
Yeah.
And literally, as soon as if a person could have been in my mind at that moment, like in my head, I was panicking, but at the same time, I knew like, okay, I can't just be like, oh, I'm hurt. No, you know, throw up the X or anything like that. I knew we had to finish this one little part, and I was like, I can do it. You know what I mean? My adrenaline kicked in, and as soon as it happened, though, it's like I fell like on my back, and she fell on top of my wrist, and it just went back. And as soon as that happened, it was a numb feeling, like a warm or a hot numb feeling, and my hand was just dangling like that, and I was like, oh my God, I broke something.
Yeah.
Like that was literally like that was my thought. I broke something. What the hell am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And so I got up because I still had to do the whole arm swipe, and I was trying to be as careful as I could with that. I was supposed to boot her after, but I was like, I'm hurt. Let's go.
Yeah.
And you know, she hit her finisher, and that was it. I rolled around in the ring. walked on the outside just kind of holding myself like this. I'm glad they didn't show it on camera. I think I turned around and looked because I think that's what I was told to do, kind of look like I'm mad or whatever. Held it together, went through the curtains, screeched like a freaking, was it banshee or whatever, so so I was just like, oh my god, like just scared. So it was very scary. It was because I had never broken anything in my life. I've had little nicks here and there where I would have like a sore shoulder or, you know, a hurt heel or something like that, but never anything broken. Okay. And so as soon as you know, and I'm so glad that it happened at a place, it's weird, but I'm glad that it happened at a place like Reality of Wrestling, because like all of y'all just like freaking rallied around me. And I apologized to Kylie afterwards. I said, I'm so sorry I took away your moment. You know, and I feel like I still apologized to her like a while ago. Yeah. More recently, I was like, I did not mean to do that, you know, because I know people were waiting for you to come back and, you know, congratulate you, and I was waiting for you, and, you know, I would have been waiting for you and stuff. And everybody just rallied around me. What's wrong? You know, what's wrong? What's going on? And so I was like, my hand, oh my God, my hand. And it's like they saw it, and all of a sudden I had like this golf ball size knot just right here. And I was just crying the whole time, you know, even though like people were congratulating me. I was like, thank you, but I'm hurt, you know what I mean?
And you didn't leave. Like I could have almost been like, had we known the severity, I mean, even though you looked at it, but you were still like, well, we still have a show, and I still want to support everyone, and like you tried your best to stick around. I mean, you stayed till even the post-show meet. Like, you didn't leave where I would have been like, had we known, hindsight, I'd been like, no, just go. Just go. There's no, we'll, you know, let us know that you're okay, you know, because, you know, again, injuries happen. It sucks. I mean, you were definitely a trooper, and are seemingly all good. I mean, like doctors, I mean, they said you would have a full recovery, so was there ever a point, maybe initially surgery or anything like that, where you were like questioning why you were doing it, or at that point you're just like, it's just kind of a bump in the road? And
I looked at it more so, it was a bump in the road, like, crap. I was supposed to go up and work WrestleMania weekend, do a couple shows for Rikishi.
Oh, wow.
I had to cancel all that. Even in my head, I'm like, okay, that's 2 weeks away. Maybe I'll be okay. We wrap it up real tight, you know. And I talked to him.
I don't use this hand anyway. Yeah.
And so I was talking to him, and the guys were like, no, Rikishi said he wants you to take care of yourself, and he was like, you know, stay in contact with him, let him know how you're doing. I had to cancel a lot of stuff because of that, and so I was mad more so because of that, because I love wrestling because it gives me more and more experience to get better and better. And so the fact that I had to shut down, I was just like, I was a little mad, and I was a little like, why me? You know, why is this happening to me right now? I get to go up and work, you know, WrestleMania weekend where there are going to be thousands and thousands of people there, and all of a sudden it's just, it's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was more so sad and angry about that, but I'm like, crap happens. It's the chance you take getting into this business, where it's a possibility that you could get hurt. Yeah. And so it was a bump in the road. It wasn't like me going, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, my sister was freaking out about it. Like, my baby sister, she was like, I don't want you to do this. She was like crying and stuff, just because that's baby sister. She's but my mom and dad, they were like, what's going on? What happened? I tried to hide it from my dad for a long time until he seen the cast on my hand. He was like, what happened to you? I was like, oh, it's going to be a great story. But no, even the doctor was like, oh, maybe you want to reconsider wrestling. And I'm like, ha 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 ha. Shut the hell up. You know, I didn't tell him that, but in my head I'm like, yeah, you just don't know a wrestler's mentality. So, but no.
Man, yeah, it's funny you talk about just like itching to get back in the ring. I remember wrestling this match, kind of like we built up this team competition type of thing, like Fight Would Survive every year. PCW was kind of it's the summer, it's real hot, so we just want to get as many people on the show. So we created kind of this team concept. We get to the finals, and it's kind of one of those like ladder cage. It's one of those weird gimmicky matches that really don't make sense from a practical standpoint, because there's like 10 people in the ring in a cage, and it's a ladder match, and so you got to do all this stuff. So like the room for errors, it's slim. Like you don't have a whole lot of room to mess up. Well, we get to the finish, and the big thing is like I have an underdog team, and I'm gonna climb and grab whatever we need to grab. So we become the victorious team, and part of my teammates like turn on me in the midst of it.
Yeah.
And then like the big bad, my big arch rival, like he goes for a choke slam, and off the ladder gives me a choke slam, and I'm like, okay, fine. I hit, and when I hit, I never had done it up until that point. I had taken all kinds of abuse, where I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I was, my body was shot. Like I felt, my body saw purple and orange, and like saw multicolor. Like I was completely shook. So maybe a day, probably out of a knee-jerk reaction, I had the exact opposite. I was the champ at the time. I went to the head writer and the owner, and I was like, "You're gonna have to take the belt off of me. I don't know," because usually after even in the midst of the adrenaline, I knew something was wrong. Like something wasn't right. Like I couldn't move right after that move, and I was like, man, is it the bump? Like I woke up the next morning, like couldn't move anything really. Like it was hard to get out of bed. I went to the chiropractor. Like even chiropractor's like, there's not a whole lot I can do right now. You're just completely inflamed. Like we're gonna come see me. Come see me in a bit. Like I've had problems before that. That was kind of the point. And he was like, have you ever just considered stopping? And I'm like, no, I consider taking a break. I told the owner that I needed him to take the belt off me, because I probably considered, I'll take a couple of months. I'm like, but I'm not done. And I never, even when I've had other situations, it's even recently, because I do yoga, do all this stuff, like I'm virtually pain free because I don't have to bump all the time. I'm like, oh, awesome, like I haven't bumped in a couple of years, except for the occasional practice here or there. There's always that part of my mind that's like, man, I think I said it at promo class, like, book wherever go, Steve. I need a run. No matter how bad I'd ever felt, I always was like, man, I just love performing, so yeah, I definitely, doctors don't get it. They don't. I'm like, what are you like? I think one doctor was like, why do you do it? I'm like, well, what are you passionate about? And they're like, bike riding. I'm like, so someone said you could never ride a bike again, and they're like, no, I'd find a way. I'm like, well, then that's what it is for me.
I think I might ask my doctor that next time I see him.
Just like, what do you like? I love painting. Well, what if they said you couldn't paint ever again? Would you do it? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, aside from the women that we have, are there any women on the indie scene that you would love for reality wrestling to bring in? I mean, I know Athena was like on your list, but is there anyone else on that? Now the Cody Rhodes list. Everyone's gonna have a Cody Rhodes list at this point. So is there anyone aside from the women that are part of reality wrestling now?
I got a chance to work Casey Carlisle in Delaware a couple months ago. Working with her, that was like the flashlight that went off in my head. Okay. And I feel like I can definitely say thank you to her, because working her, she gave me advice. It was a great match. She even complimented me during the match. I don't know, from a woman's perspective, she made it click for me. Yeah. It's like, y'all tell me things all the time, and I'm like, yeah, gotcha. But the way that she said it as a female, I was like, wow, like this chick is so awesome.
Yeah.
I would love for her to come down. But I know that she's booked up till like August or something like that.
Christmas chaos.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm just saying, you gotta with Kevin and Book, you gotta like start throwing in the field like, hey man, Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a good girl, could I have like my gift to
to put it like
just,
that.
I don't care about the outcome. I don't care what it's for.
Exactly.
Just, it doesn't even have to be anywhere related to whatever. Just, I'd like to, sometimes, I mean, I don't know, if she's booked till August.
Yeah.
Just saying, December, I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Now you've been with the division longer than anyone else. How do you, we know how bad it had gotten, but how good is it for you now? Like a year or 18 months removed, well, not even like a year removed from like the division being gone, kind of the darkest point to now. How night and day is it, in your opinion?
Oh my God, big time difference.
Okay.
Big time difference. There are numerous girls there every day. Every day you have probably minimum or for the most part, few times a week you're gonna have at least anywhere from 3 to 6, 7 girls there.
Yeah. Which
is something that I did not see when I first got here. It was one girl that was there pretty much constantly. That was Raquel. She's another girl that helped me a lot. So I will take back what I said earlier to be, I want to be to these girls what no one was to me. She definitely helped me. She helped me realize some things, and I'm just like, I texted her like about a month ago, and I was like, hey, how are you doing? Miss you. And then she, responded back. She said she's doing fine, and she congratulated me, on winning it, and she's so awesome. And it's just, these girls, they're happy. I make sure there's like no drama or anything, because I tell them that when they first come in, I introduce myself to them and I talk to them, and then as time passes, I'm like, hey, blah blah blah, I give them advice, watch who you tell your business to, different things like that. Stuff nobody told me except for guys. Some of the guys told me. And so they're excited to be there. They're excited to learn. They're excited to try new moves. They're not like, oh, I don't want to try this, or you know what I mean. They're like, okay, how do you do it? Tell me how you do it. And I'm the same way for them. But I've always been like that for people. I'll work with you. You work with me. Let's make each other look good. Not focus on just making yourself look good. Let's make each other look good. And that's how the match with Kylie came off good, because we sat there and like, okay, what do you like to do, or what do you want to do, and here's what I do. Are you okay with doing this? Not forcing her to do something she didn't want to do. And it's night and day. It honestly is, and it's like I said, I don't care. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't want to crap on the girls, but it's just I'm just speaking the truth. And most of the people will vouch that the girls that we have now, they are ready to learn, they're ready to work, they're enjoying it. And it's not an ego thing at all. They're very respectful. Ivory, hey, blah blah blah. Even though don't put me up like that, because I always tell the girls I'm still learning. I haven't been in this business for quite 3 years yet. So I was like, I'm still learning myself. But I was like, I appreciate you asking me. And I'll tell you what I've been told. So I love them. I love it now.
I mean, it's I'm there more often with promo class, but it's good to see the people that are there. And it's really great that if I do ever have a conversation with Kevin, there are very few problem children. I mean, we used to have a lot of problem children. And it would always be what do we do? And sometimes it's like, well, maybe they're not made for this. Maybe they're not made for this company. Not saying you can't go elsewhere. Some places will coddle you. Some will boost your ego. I mean, this is not a, this is a place where we tell everyone, leave the ego at the door. It's about the show. It's about making the show better. It's not about one particular person. Everyone gets their thing, but if you're in a position of you hold a belt or you're high up on the card, like we hold you to a certain level, you know, and I think there's so much accountability that's missing, you know, everywhere else that I go. Like people ask me often, you know, like, would you go here, would you go there? And I'm like, well, I don't know. What's the structure like? What are they trying to do? Do they have video production? No. Then why would I? Yeah, that's a deal breaker. I'm not here to workshop you to figure out who Steve DeMarco is. I wake up and I can be that guy. It's not hard, you know. So for me, it's a lot different than I hear, you know, like especially when we've had issues with you can't work here, you can't work there, like, oh, just we want quality stuff, and people they don't think of that part. They just go, he doesn't want me to work anywhere. I'm like, no, if you go to Booker and you go, look, this is a really good opportunity, this is what they're paying me, this is what they've got, here's their website, here's some of their talent, and you just kind of pitch it to them and go, they're going to take care of me, then I don't think he has a problem. It's just, a lot of times it's, well, would you brag about working there? No. Well, then, why are you working? Well, I just need a place to work. It's like, I get it, but your bump card's only so full, and as we both know, it doesn't take a great move to take you out.
Yeah.
You know? I wanted to have you on the show. I wanted to have you on the show before Kylie, because, you know, I felt like you had a really interesting story. I mean, we've had like the Y wrestling stuff, and you know, we could get into that. I want to really.
Please don't make me cry.
No.
That was my goal. I was like, I swear every time I talk to this man, I was like, I really don't want to cry, please, because it could turn. Eric was like, yeah, you were getting ready to do an ugly cry, but then you turned your face, and I was like, oh, screw you, dude. Like, no.
You're like, at least I have the balls to cry. You know?
Exactly.
What do you say? No.
Exactly.
But I thought it was good timing because, again, depending on when you return, and I didn't really want to talk to you when you were right after the arm happened, because I know, regardless of how much of a positive face you could put, I'm sure you had some dark times, you know, just, again, it sucks having something that, oh, I can't move it like I'd like to, you know, and again, questioning, you know, because it was something relatively safe, something relatively simple.
Yeah, a move that I've taken numerous times before. It was weird. And Booker, he joked for a while. He was like, "Oh, you were scared, weren't you?" I'm like, Booker, I've taken that move like a million times. Like, really, cut it out. So if people want to learn more about you or want to book you, you can tell everyone about your social media, because I'll just tag you and then you can like share it. But I mean, if there's any, you know, people want to book you or, you know, bring you out or whatnot, how can they get a hold of you? Facebook, look under Robyn, Robyn, Reid, Reid. That's one. My Twitter is Ivory Robyn, Robyn, Row, all capital letters. I don't do Instagram because I'm not vain. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. No, I hate taking pictures like myself.
You're not a selfie person.
Yeah, I'm not like I literally.
And yet you have some adorable pictures.
No, like no. Shut up. You better. I feel like I know which one you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
Red shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm just saying. You just told them.
But those are the two ways. Oh, and my email is the word one, robynreid@gmail.com.
So, before I let you go, the Black Diamond. I want to know, because I think this would be a great way to do it. Where did you come up with it? And what does it represent? Because it's really like a whole, I don't think, it's much like Kylie. I go, people don't really know what Kylie's like outside. I mean, some people get the awkwardness, but much like with promo class, some stuff comes out and I go, wow, I never knew. And then I'm like, I appreciate you sharing that, because that's awesome. Yeah. Well, with you, you're such a really positive person, but
I try to be as positive as possible. Even though I'm quiet, I'm just very observant. I sit back and I observe. Some people might mistake that as me being like a bitch.
Yeah.
But I'm not, because I'm like, no, I'm very observant. And a weird thing about me that I tell people is that I can read people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's weird. I can read people, and 9 out of 10 times I'll say I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty spot on. And so that's because like I'm observant. I click, like I catch on to certain things that a person says or how they act or different things like that. And what was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Outside of what people see you on TV or on YouTube, I mean, you're a real positive person, but the Black Diamond character, where'd you come up with it? And what is it to you?
I knew that they wanted me to come out as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't want to say naturally that's something that I am, but I have that demeanor, I guess you
Probably
could say.
because you're so observant.
Yeah,
and some people might be like, she's kind of aloof.
Yeah. And so as time passed and time progressed, I was like, okay, who can I look at to get inspiration from? And I was like, Stephanie McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And then more recently, like the end of last year, I was like, Cookie from Empire.
Nice.
Because the fact of, like, they're both business women.
Mm-hmm.
And they do what they have to do to either protect their business or, in Cookie's case, her family.
Yeah.
It's like she can carry herself. She's a little bit ratchet. I don't think I'm all that ratchet. So she's a little ratchet. But it's like she'll conduct business, she sits down, she knows how to talk to people, but if somebody tries to harm her kids, like, she's ready to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
If she doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
And it's just, I loved seeing Stephanie. I think it's so cool to see a woman in blazers and suits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just think that that's so pretty. And the fact that they put me with Stevie, I was like, well, since he's, expert tutelage, professional guy, I was like, let me see if I can kind of mold my character to be business-like, almost. And then I thought about JBL too for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought about him. And that's where that's why I wear a tie. Like, some people are like, why does she wear a tie? It's because I'm trying to be professional while kicking your ass. And so the name Black Diamond actually came from Eric, who's a fan of Kiss, and so they have a song called Black Diamond.
Okay.
And so that's where that came from.
Because I always was curious, like, because when you said it in the promo, when you said it in the promo, I was like, no, it makes sense, but so I was like, because I'm always curious where people come up with.
Yeah, is that, and then Jason. Also, he was like, they were arguing. He was like, no, I came up with it first, and blah, blah. So I was like, both of y'all. I'll just say both of y'all.
We'll just have to have them have a match.
Exactly.
Just for the right to say who came up with it first.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while, and always trying to figure out the best time for it. And I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your life, and you didn't cry, but
I did.
which is a real treat,
I almost
people.
got ready to be so honest with you, I almost got ready to tear up after watching what Kylie said.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do this.
Well, that's why I wanted to play it for you. I didn't want to be like, so what do you think of Kylie? And then you just go all into Black Diamond mode, and then like, oh, she said something really sweet about you, and you'd be like, oh.
After
she's still alive.
Yeah, like after watching like that clip that I saw, that the interview you did with her, and I saw what she was saying about me, I was like, oh, this bitch. I was like, I'm gonna kill her. Like, she just made it so hard.
You just wait till tomorrow. You'll see her tomorrow. You just give her a nice like, don't you ever say that again. She'll be like, what are you talking about? You know what you said. I'll be like, just watch Sunday. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.